Soup. So refreshing. No matter how many times I have it, I just can't get enough. You could say it's pretty super. You know, like that other super thing. Super Smash Bros. Is a series very near and dear to my heart, with some of my favorite games of all time. Really a paragon of a series that has something to offer in every single entry. Smash 64 has its charm as the first in the series. Melee expanded on the combat and added endgame modes like All-Star Mode and Home Run Contest. Smash 4 brought DLC and amiibos, I guess? That counts for something, right? Then there's Ultimate, which was just everything up till now and so much more. Now, I'm sure you noticed I skipped one. After all, it's the title of the video. That's right, this video is about Brawl. A controversial entry to the series that I think deserves a lot more credit for what it did for the franchise. And no, this video will not be discussing the 4 horsemen of Brawl. There is no tripping, there is no subspace, and there is no Meta Knight. And you might be thinking, why aren't you talking about subspace? Subspace is so great. And yeah, it is, but it's pretty much the only good thing people say about this game. No one can get past tripping and Meta Knight to say anything good about this game other than subspace. So keep that in mind. But before we get into the game itself, let's take a look at the development. Yeah, that's right. This is a video essay. Just wait till I get to the section about capitalism. Anyways, let's go back a little if you would, to E3 of 2005. Here at a pre-E3 conference, Nintendo would announce the next installment to the Smash Bros. Series following Melee. Then, after the conference, the director was hired on as the first member of the team who was going to develop the game. Yes, you heard me correctly, after the game was announced, the first member of the development team was brought on. Yeah, so the director of the previous 2 games, Masahiro Sakurai, had left HAL Laboratories, which was the company in charge of the series production, in 2003, but was told by the president of Nintendo that when they make the next Smash game, they wanted him involved. However, they did not tell this man that they were making this game. He found out when they announced it to the public at the conference. No, seriously. Who thought this was a good idea? How did they let this happen? I mean, imagine being Sakurai, going to Nintendo's E3 conference, sitting down in the audience, and they announce the new Smash Bros. Game. You might think to yourself, whoa, a new game. I wonder who they got to direct it after I left. You're the director. You're making the game. Sorry, got a little heated there. Anyways, development began in October of 2005, and though there were many hurdles, the game released on January 31st, 2008 Japan, March 9th in North America, and late June in other parts of the world. Upon opening the game, the first thing you might notice is how absurdly loud this screen is. Also, side note, when starting your Wii up, did anyone else ever hit the A button and notice that little click noise was just a little too loud, causing you to rush to turn your volume down like you're defusing a bomb? Because if you didn't, your eardrums would explode? Huh? What's that? I can't tell if you're agreeing with me, I didn't make it in time. Back to the title screen, and what a title screen it is. This opening is legendary. Like this shot with the sunset and the way the music builds up always gets me excited. And I know visually it's not all that interesting since there aren't any unique visuals, just gameplay and subspace scenes, but the music really is just that strong. Honestly, all the music is in this game, but I'd like to go into more detail about that later. After the opening, we get into the menu, and I guess they decided to go with light mode after the previous games, which might sound like a bad thing, but this menu is actually really good. And did you know? It's got aspects of Kirby Air Ride's UI, which was super cool and is another Sakurai project. The influence is definitely there. I won't pretend to be very knowledgeable about UI, but even I know a good menu when I see it. The biggest options are home to the main gameplay elements and a majority of the content. You also start with your selection on the main mode of the game, which makes sense, but cutting out an extra button press or stick input can make a menu far more bearable. It's also organized pretty intuitively too, with the standard mode and its variations under group. This is a party game after all. Minigames and side modes that offer different gameplay experiences under solo, and then everything else is pretty easy to tell except maybe Vault, but I'll go over that later. Going back though, the first submenu is home to the Smash gameplay you know and love, with some extra options that I honestly don't think anyone really played all that much, other than just to try it out, or in the case of Special Smash, to have the most chaotic and ridiculous game you've ever played before switching back to normal rules and never touching that mode ever again. Now, when it comes to good old Smash, there's some pretty heavy changes, and I know that there were some negative feelings about how the game played compared to Melee, but this video is more about what I love about Brawl. Yeah, it's kind of floaty, but I think there were a lot of really good additions made to the casual gameplay. For starters, this was the first Smash game with third-party representation. For those who don't know what that means, it's just characters that don't belong to Nintendo, like Sonic and Snake. Interestingly, the roster was decided before the end of 2005, with the exception of a certain Blue Blur who was added around the end of 2007, much to the chagrin of current Smash players. Apart from third-party fighters, there were also some other crazy additions, including Game & Watch, Rob, and Pit. Pretty crazy, right? I mean, they're there to represent retro Nintendo, but seriously. It's like adding Duck. Oh yeah, I guess they did do that. Out of those, I'm happiest that Pit got added, because whether it actually did anything, I like to think it led Sakurai to making Kid Icarus Uprising. By the way, I need more Kid Icarus. Heck, I don't even need a new game. Just let me play Uprising on console with a controller. Please, I beg you. You don't want to know what I would do for more Kid Icarus. It's like one of those Klondike commercials, and the answer is I would do a lot. Whoa. Back on track, along with the characters came new costumes. Back in Melee, most characters had 5 costumes. In Brawl, most have 6, a few have 5, and then strangely, Pikachu and Lucario only have 4, which I think is especially strange for Pikachu because, well, he's Pikachu. They even got rid of his party hat. Then there's the real outlier Wario with 12, because he has 6 colors in his biker outfit and 6 in his classic overalls. Some of the skins are really good, and others are not. I mean, seriously, did anyone intentionally use the brown Bowser or care about Olimar with blue gloves and buttons? Well, I guess that one's a reference to Louis, but it's barely noticeable. However, there were some fits that just hit. This black and white one for Zelda and Sheik, Fusion Samus, this SNES costume, Yeti DK, and then like all of DDD's. To be perfectly honest though, Pit had the best ones, and it's not even close. Like, each and every one of these are so good, and this may or may not be true, but this black costume he has may have been the inspiration for the character of Dark Pit. Speaking of inspiration, tons of the costumes take it from other things, but that's a bit outside the scope of this video. Though if you're interested, do some research, cause it's pretty cool. Aside from costumes, characters also receive more taunts, giving us our standard of 3 that we have today. Brawl gave some incredibly iconic ones. Captain Falcon's "Come on, the fight is on!" Diddy Kong's wavy hands, the Luigi board, and oh god, he's here. Bad hog, stay back. Last thing in general Smash gameplay is the items. Brawl added quite a few, but 2 take the show. First is assist trophies, which is honestly a great idea that lets so many characters be in the game in a more involved way. It also keeps Waluigi trapped as an item, doomed never to be playable. Then, most importantly, the addition of the Smash Ball and Final Smashes. Now, you may not know if you're under the age of, Wii, but the Smash Ball and Final Smashes weren't always in the games, though the symbol has always been a series staple. And I know I've been saying this is cool and that is cool, but holy moly, I'm popping off right now. And for all you Melee heads, you get to be Giga Bowser, and play as Giga Bowser, and kill people as Giga Bowser. They cooked. Final Smashes were a game changer. Not fair, but game changing nonetheless. It makes it a whole other game when it spawns in as everyone tries to get to it and break it first. And when someone finally does, the whole screen darkens. There's an inherent stress when someone has the Smash Ball and you're just trying your best to avoid being anywhere near them. Of course, they're playing Snake, so they get like a minute to just play Duck Hunt and shoot you over and over with bombs. As awesome as Final Smashes are, they really were unbalanced in this game. Characters like Sonic or Pikachu would become completely invincible and could fly around the screen for like 15 seconds straight and just kill you, and then kill you again. But then there's Jigglypuffs, who I'm pretty sure you'd have to try to die from. Though there is a cool glitch on Bridge of Elden where you use hers right as the bridge is being regenerated, and when it ends, Puff stays big. Still useless though. So like, sure, they're not balanced, but they're so freaking cool. Okay, I think that about covers that area of gameplay. Now onto the side modes. Returning are Home Run Contest as you remember it in Melee, and Break the Targets in a moderately less interesting way. In Melee, every character had their own level, but in Brawl, there are set levels that every single character can do. They're all fun, but it's a bit of a shame to lose out on all that variety. Also coming back is Classic Mode and All-Star Mode, true to form. The shooter game at the end of them was always the best part, and such a cool way to do credits. I also loved how you get a trophy for each character you beat All-Star Mode with, and then it shows you a wide shot of all the ones you've done so far. More on trophies later. New to the game are the weird battles with the Fighting Alloy team, replacing the Polygon team from Melee, and the events, which are little presets that make you do fights with certain characters or items. Pretty neat. Oh yeah, by the way, boss fights. This ain't your grandpap Smash Bros. We got more than Master Hand. You wanna fight Ray frickin' Quaza? You can fight Ray frickin' Quaza. There's also like 4 more boss fights that come from other games, as well as 2 that are completely original to Brawl. It really does feel like the obvious next step for a game like Smash to include this single player content that can actually be a bit difficult, and it adds another dimension to the combat by seeing how fast you can take a boss down. Outside of when you fight them in subspace, there's a boss rush mode too, which I think is just awesome and is something that's missing from a lot of games. Also, some of these fights use the universal Smash Bros to its advantage so well. Like, I mean, only in Smash can you have Meta Ridley chasing you on Captain Falcon's ship. Ooh, and let me tell you that it is hype when you beat these bosses and this weird green tint and stuff shows up. Like, I don't know why, but this is just awesome. It's something out of Kingdom Hearts, man. And then there's the final boss. Yeah, a final boss in a party game. And there you are with the freaky Taboo energy man turning himself into a fish, and you're fighting him as Sonic the Hedgehog. It's peak. Remember how I said I'd go over the vault later? Well, it's later. Basically, it's all the extra things that don't fit in with the other stuff. You've got challenges, which are just achievements, and those are always a fun add-on. Album and replays are there too. You know what they are, and you would be right. Moving on. The Chronicles menu is a list of essentially every game Nintendo has ever made, which is a strange thing to put in a game, but I guess if there was a franchise to do it, then Smash is absolutely the best choice. Another thing that was just a super random add-on was the Masterpieces mode. It's a list of some classic Nintendo games that you can play for a few minutes each, almost like a demo. I remember playing the 6 minutes of Ocarina of Time over and over, even though we owned the actual game. I know that sounds kinda dumb, but it was fun to see how far I could get in just 6 minutes. It's just one of those things that older games would do. There's not really a point to it, but it's cool that it's there. Bam, it's Stage Builder. Stage Builder rules. I spent hours as a kid just making different stages, even though they weren't that fun to play on, and I would end up never using them. However, I'm not trying to diminish the mode because there was so much customization in it for what it was. You could choose the background, the music, there were multiple kinds of styles and basic building blocks, and more unique pieces too. And if you didn't make a stage that was just a box that you could only really die at like 600%, then you didn't use the Stage Builder. That's right, I'm gatekeeping the Super Smash Bros. Brawl Stage Builder. What are you gonna do about it? Last but certainly not least, trophies and stickers, which itself has a few different modes in it. The sticker album lets you fill out pages with collectible stickers. And sure, it's nothing crazy, but there's a ton of unique artwork, and that's always cool to see. There's the coin launcher, where you can earn trophies in a minigame and spend all of your money on it. Then, the Trophy Gallery, which is a staple of the series, or at least it would be if it was still in the games. But it's not, although it is in this game. And the music bangs. I mean, for real though, this game has so much good music. The intro, the remixes, the originals, they all slap. I tip my hat to the music team because this is absolutely an iconic soundtrack for an iconic game. Truly though, Brawl is a game I hold so near and dear to my heart, and I always will. Brawl was my favorite game growing up, and every time I think of it, I'm sent back to being 6 years old, getting home from a soccer game on a Saturday with a donut my mom got me as a treat, and just running down the stairs and booting it up. It's a blast of childhood memories and happiness when I think of this game, and if there's a day I'm feeling down, I know that Brawl will be there to bring me back to those fond days. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. If you like what you saw, then don't expect the same thing next time. I mean, I've made completely different kinds of videos every single time. I mean, there's zero consistency. But hey, if that sounds fun, then stick around. Anyways, it's been real, it's been fun, it's been real fun. Remember to leave a like and subscribe. Later.